Hello everyone, and welcome to EWOW 13B. I'm Deckardv, otherwise known as Brady, famed pentomino enjoyer and one of your hosts of this episode. Today, I'm joined by... Crap, I need a co-host. Who can I contact?
Hey, this is GreenTree. I'm not here right now. Please leave a message after the...
Okay, well, it looks like I'll be hosting this episode solo, so...
Hey.
Whoa! Spicy, hi, what are you doing here?
I heard you had an open hosting spot for this episode.
I do, yes.
Well, I suppose I wouldn't mind sparing some time to help you out with hosting.
Jesus, what the... I can host by myself, you know. Besides, surely you're busy with other things, right?
No, I'm... completely free, which means I think I'd be the perfect candidate for helping host this episode, given I'm the reigning champ of 13B episodes.
Okay, fine. I guess you can help host.
Yes! I'm SpicyMan33, definitely not washed former TWOW top 10er, and soon to be two-time champion of 13B episodes. What else do I say? How do I host?
There's a teleprompter over there. Just read what it says, please. Try not to get too off topic.
Yes, sir. Okay, last time we tasked you with this prompt. What's the... wait, this isn't the TWOW 13 prompt?
We're not in TWOW 13. That was literally 9 years ago.
Oh, wow. Well, okay. The prompt is, what's the front page headline on the May 12th, Why this date? That feels...
Just read the prompt.
Jeez, fine. Didn't know hosting was so unfun. Okay. You all had to respond to the prompt, what's the front page headline on the May 12th, 2063 edition of the New York Times? Good to know that New York is still going strong 40 years from now. You know, I was just...
Okay, I'm taking over now. Out of the 406 eligible contestants this round, a grand total of 358 of them responded. This round, only the top 18 will prize, meaning it's the first round where not everyone who places in the top 20 gains a prize. In order to not lose a life this round, you need to place in the top 183. Meanwhile, the bottom 175 contestants will unfortunately perish thanks to global warming and rising sea levels. This round, we got a total of votes, cast by 393 voters. The number of votes went down this time, but the average number of votes per response skyrocketed to 43.83. Voter shoutouts go to Mapping 2 numbers, Koopa 3 numbers, Jedi 4 numbers, Janma the URUI 4 numbers, and Series 0 numbers. The winner of this round won with an average of 80.98%. That's over 5% more than the winner of last round. This person was...
Well, obviously it's me.
It's not. Anyways, the winner is Tai Person with the response, Gamer disease restricts communication to WASD inputs. Aw, sad, reports victim. Congratulations Tai, you're a 13th round winner. Tai Person follows in Nindragon 471's footsteps, marking the second round in a row that a response about gaming won. In second place, we have Tai Person with an average of 76.01%. Tai Person said, self-driving car personality update backfires. Introverted models U-turn before busy highways.
Hold on a second. I think there's something wrong here. It says Tai Person twice.
Wait, what? How is it even possible? Both of Tai Person's responses beat everyone else's responses? What a feat! And not only that, but by quite a significant margin too, as the real second placer was over a full % lower than Tai's second response.
Whatever. Frickin' try hard anyways. And speaking of tryhards, our other two normalized ranked frontrunners, Losered and Scorb, both prized this episode with music-based responses. Although one foretold climate change bringing early Christmas songs, the other unfortunately looked at a future without a royalty-free institution. This is so sad. Alexa, play Heartbreaking. Our second placer for this episode, or third placer? Shorky, also brought up the future of music using holograms with a tasteful pun that clearly made voters a believer in her response.
Our third and fourth placers, Neonth and Just a Toad BB, both had temperature-based responses, specifically talking about the cold, with Neonth saying that Brazil gets incorrectly declared as the coldest country, and Just a Toad exclaiming Fahrenheit 451 getting banned for unrealistic temperatures.
Both Brandy and Remy brought up questionable zoological endeavors, with Remy's headline announcing the grand return of a particularly pesky insect, and Brandy's showing us that maybe getting Pokemon in real life isn't such a great idea.
Grammar Lee and Koopa472 both prized with robot-based pun responses, with Grammar Lee talking about a future world where robots get arrested for crimes, and Koopa talking about equipment malfunction when robotic malware begins to take over pacemakers.
Plasmic Trojan reported on the pro-cloning movement, which seems to be growing rather quickly. Weirdly enough, this response easily had the most votes, with 10 more than second place. I wonder if he's a pro-cloner too. Meanwhile, the Pink Bunny Empire told us what happens when quantum physics mix with the marital system, with the results being inconclusive, to say the least. Cloudy Skies had the least controversial response of the episode, showcasing the drab reality of time travel taking us to before they invented color. Time travel sounds like a handy invention, though.
Creative Casey highlights a dystopian future in which water and lead are scarce, leading to celebration upon their rediscovery. On the other hand, talks about an abundance of water causing mass flooding. Then Polite Cheese rounds out the water-based responses in the top 20, exclaiming that in the future, the ocean becomes so polluted with pool noodles that it qualifies as a soup.
Kyastra cast a timely view on the state of advertisements and media, with the outlook fairly dire. I mean, over 9 million pages of ads? Hey, I mean, it's a good thing EWOW doesn't have ads otherwise.
Has this ever happened to you?
Man, this shirt is so boring. I wish I could represent my favorite internet competition show and not just boringness.
Well, do I have the thing for you? Bang! 1216 on a t-shirt. Want it on a phone? Bang! Want it on a throw pillow? Bang! Want it on your kids and babies? Bang! Want it on a book? Bang!
Bookception.
1216 on everything. Go to https://www.redbubble.com/shop/AP/225144040 to buy it now.
Things would get out of hand pretty quickly. Finally, rather fittingly, iTeoti called for the end of newspapers due to accelerants resulting in a terrifying torrent of tabloids trampling thousands.
These 18 round out our prizers of the round. However, we've still got 2 players left in the top 20 to talk about. Who will be our first person to miss out on the prize zone while still obtaining a top 20 placement? Well, it's Xrai, detailing a future where climate change gets so bad that winter is officially no more. Then, rounding out our top 20, we have Azurite, who unfortunately just missed out on being on the top 20 screen, thanks to the domination of the Tai people in the top 2. Just like in EWOW 12B, we're going to be continuing the format of commentating on the entire leaderboard instead of just the top 20. Up in ranks 20th to 38th, we see a couple of titans narrowly miss the prize region, such as 4D Jumpman and number 1 Sigma Rizlord. We also see our second highest placing DRP here, with our second placer Shorky, meaning both of the top 2 placing second responses and top 2 first responses are by the same 2 people.
Moving on down, we can see that 2 similar vision-based responses landed practically next to each other. But while Sparrowcat's view of the future is bright and clear, it seems like Hydrogen Citrus had a blurrier outlook thanks to an unfortunate typo. Meanwhile, Dumb Stuff seems to have identified that those 100 EWOW AIs have turned to gambling after being eliminated. It's a good thing certain imperfections still haven't been fixed, even 30 years from now.
Continuing down the leaderboard, we see TWOW Season 1 winner, Midnight Light, alongside previous round winner, Nindragon471. The latter of which is keeping their single life afloat with a response about scientists misinterpreting green energy. I'd also like to highlight Catworld's response, which was one of my favorites of the round, exclaiming that aliens are only really interested in selling us car insurance. On this screen, we also see IRDM, whose response about no sleep unfortunately earned them no prize, which means their streak of prizing in every single odd-numbered round has officially come to an end.
Dipping below the 60% mark, I want to give a shout out to Pancake's response here, one of my favorites of this round. Call me an old soul, but I appreciate a response that's narratively intriguing and avoids using puns. And I gotta say, Graph Giraffe's future of football sounds like it might be enough to get me into sports. It's certainly more entertaining than Cohaki's look at a clingier asteroid.
Rounding out our double-digit placements, we have Orange Carry Superfan detailing disaster for astronauts on the planet Venus. Meanwhile, only 0.02% below them, we have TWOW Season 1 alumni FryUI exclaiming praise for astronauts on Mars.
As we move into the 100s, I appreciate TR_'s positivity here, but I do feel like wildfires might be the least of our worries in this future. S1N Blitz's look into poker innovations might be bleak to some of you viewers, but to this hosting team, we're not complaining.
Moving on down, as you can see, it's me, Deckardv, with both the second highest vote count and second highest standard deviation on this screen. Beaten in votes by Slimbish reporting on a password leak, and beaten in standard deviation by Convex Projects describing clocks malfunctioning due to a higher level of electricity. I'd also like to shout out Mikey Swag with a subtle nod to Horsel. Do you suck at Wordle and want something a little bit easier? Try Horsel, the Wordle variant where the word is always horse, any day, every day.
As we slowly edge closer to the danger zone, we find ourselves with the most controversial surviving response. That being 2 laws look into a less laughter-filled future that split voters, perhaps between those who like clowns and those who are terrified of them. Or maybe it's just controversial because it's similar to this mini TWOW response Scorb submitted to Magnity TWOW. Who knows? And hey, Minty's depiction of a 100 words of wisdom would imply that we've really ramped up production, given we've only gotten up to 11 in 10 years. Shame about that cancellation, though.
As we get dangerously close to the life loss region, we see an uptick in double responses, with a whole 5 on this screen alone. We also see a number of people with similar ideas. 60mo and Funo both with responses about mind reading gone wrong. Definitely Not and Swift Smarty Pants with 2 flying car accident responses, and Awesome Polar Bear and Jadine placing directly next to each other with 2 responses about curing cancer, the zodiac sign. And here we have it, our final screen of the safe zone. There are only 14 more contestants to be revealed that will not be losing a life. And this one DRP, I guess. If you haven't been revealed yet, now is your time to start panicking. Let's just get this over with, shall we? Drum roll, please. And the final contestant not losing a life is Neptune. Unfortunately, if you haven't seen your name by now, that means you are among the 175 contestants losing a life this round for placing in the bottom 49%. For many of you, this is unfortunately your final life, meaning this is the end of your EWOW journey. To that, we thank you for playing. For those of you losing your final lives on this day, do not be sad, but be grateful for the journey you went on. You may not have reached the EWOW endgame, but you still impressively beat over 16,000 other competitors, which is already a feat in itself. Be proud for the fight you fought, as few others have reached this far. As for some other miscellaneous stats, only 3 of the prizers this round were also still eligible for life decay, meaning only 3 contestants are getting a triple response prize for round 14. And coincidentally, or not, those 3 are also the top 3 in normalized ranks. On the other hand, 32 contestants will be going into EWOW 14 with a double response prize, meaning the number of extra responses in EWOW 14 will be nearly exactly half of the number of extra responses in this round.
Hey, hold on, stop with the sappiness! Where the heck am I?
Oh, I think I saw you. Go back a couple screens. There you are, 343rd. You lost a life.
I lost a life? On my episode?
Actually, I think... Yeah, Spicy, you set a new record.
I did? Really?
You're the first ever host to respond and lose a life on the episode you're hosting. Congratulations. Congratulations. Spicy? Spicy. I guess that one broke him. Anyways. Next up we have life count statistics. 406 people came into this round and only 304 walk away, with 104 contestants losing their final lives. This is most likely the final round in which over 100 contestants are eliminated in a round. With these eliminations, that brings us down to our final 1.83% of the original 16,607 contestants. As you can see by this chart, 123 contestants hold steady at 1 life remaining, which is the most out of any number of lives remaining. However, surprisingly, the 3-lifer population has grown larger than the 2-lifer population. This is largely thanks to the previous 4-lifers being filtered down to 3 lives thanks to life decay, which just barely pushed the number of 3-lifers above the number of 2-lifers. Speaking of life decay, there are only 8 players who are still above 3 lives and eligible for life decay next round. You'd think that would mean life decay is coming to an end soon, but seeing as someone is at 6 lives still, we've still got at least a couple rounds to go. Moving on, here are your normalized ranks for this round. As you can see, nothing really changed. Hey, Spicy! Spicy, wake up!
I'm not watching. What? Huh?
I need you to do rolling normalized ranks. We're both supposed to be hosting this episode, remember?
Oh, sure. What? What are rolling in ours? We didn't have those in TWOW.
Just read what it says. And maybe pay more attention to EWOW episodes?
Noted. Anyways, here's rolling in ours. Whatever that is. With their impressive second place finish this round, Shorky jumps up from 5th to 1st, overtaking Brandy as the head of rolling NRs. Brandy only falls down 1 ranking, however, with a still highly respectable 2nd place, while the Pink Bunny Empire rounds out the podium, jumping up from 12th to 3rd place. These 3 are the only 3 to have prized in all 3 of the past rounds, with Brandy having prized in all of the last 4. Impressive! Show-offs.
Crap, those normalized ranks went by way too quickly, and now we need extra content to fill up the runtime. What to do? Let's talk about more stats. Yup, stats. That's what we need right now. Let's just get some random interesting stats. Out of the original 16,607 competitors, there are only 3 remaining who have yet to place in either the bottom 49% elimination region or the top 5% prize region in any round. They are Coco, Swift Smarty Pants, and Orange Carry Superfan. After the results of EWOW 2B, a grand total of 6,870 players were reduced to 1 life. Out of those 6,870, only 2 of them are still alive, Noslin and Leopard Sun, both of whom are also at 1 life here in 13B. Leopard Sun did return to 3 lives after prizing in EWOW 5 and 6, however has once again lost those regained lives by placing in the elimination zone in this episode and last episode. On the other hand, Noslin has never prized and has remained stagnant at 1 life longer than any other competitor, all the way from 3B to 13B, in fact just barely surviving EWOW 7. There are a number of contestants who have gotten the exact same placement in 2 separate rounds, but only 2 players have ever gotten the same placement in 3 separate rounds. Juju Mass, who got 9th place in EWOW 5, 9, and 11, and Der Mongoose getting 308 in EWOW 2, 5, and 12. Interestingly, Der Mongoose's 308 placements each landed him in a different region, earning them a prize in EWOW 2, safety in EWOW 5, and life loss in EWOW 12. Juju Math, on the other hand, has also gotten 202nd in 2 rounds in a row, making them the alive competitor with the lowest number of unique placements at only 10 different placements across all 13 rounds. Although this stat does exclude notable 3-time DNPers Oxysouls, Me Like Pie 50, Awesome Pig 7, John Dubuck, and 4-time DNPer Too Many 4. Lai the Nova is the competitor who has placed in the most different tenths of the leaderboard, having placed in every single one except for 0 to 10%. To be more specific, this means they've placed in between 90% and 100% at least once, in between 80% and 90% at least once, etc., all the way down to 10% and 20% at least once. This is pretty interesting, but there's actually an eliminated contestant that's done even better. Numbary, eliminated in EWOW 11, has placed in every single tenth of the leaderboard at least once, and they did it all in a row. Not only did they do it all in a row, but they also prized in the first round, granting them an extra life, and their placement between 40% and 50% was the singular percent that didn't cost them a life. If either of those things did not happen, they would not have had enough lives to make this incredible statistic.
Deckard.
Meanwhile, if you tally up everyone's responses and assign Scrabble scores to them...
Deckard! No one cares about that. We need to move on.
No, I still got more. Don't you want to know who's had the biggest chain of responses in alphabetical order?
I don't think that...
It's Cloudy Skies, EWOW 5 to 11.
Okay. We're moving on. The viewers want the prompt now.
But the stats...
Shh. You've done good. EWOW 13B has so many stats thanks to you. Alright, before we get into the EWOW 14 prompt, I've got a fairy tale to read. Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs. 2 of them were very lazy, and built their house out of straws and sticks. But the third was hard-working and built his out of bricks. Along came a wolf, hungry for pigs. He begged the first pig to let him in, but Hey, do I really need to read this whole thing out? Can I, give the spark notes, maybe? Okay, so the wolf blew down the first two houses, but he failed to blow down the third one, and all of the pigs were happy and safe. But did you know that this fairy tale is wrong? That's right. Just like the Jonas Brothers, the three little pigs have a fourth sibling, and they, too, built a house. But what did the fourth little pig build his house out of, and why? There's plenty of places to go with this one. After all, with wolves out on the prowl, I'm sure the fourth pig could think of some fairly clever ways to construct their house. Or maybe there's a reason they weren't included in the original fairy tale? Decisions. A response of yours could look like this. Books written in Greek. The wolf scared off. Too many alphas. This time, you'll have a full week to submit your responses. Make sure to get them in by Wednesday, July 16th at 11:59 p.m. PDT. Or the big bad wolf will huff and puff and blow your lives away. Hey Deckard, remind the viewers where they have to submit to. I gotta go set something up.
Okay. Make sure to submit using EWOW.zone. You can also use this to send a confessional or adjust your appearance, as always. And that's all. Huh? Spicy, what are you doing?
I'm taking Cloudy Sky's idea, Deckard. I'm going back. Back to when I didn't lose a life in EWOW 13B. Heck, back to before I was DNP'd in EWOW 2 for capitalizing my email. While I'm at it, I might as well go back all the way to December 23rd, 2016 and rewrite history. You're looking at the winner of TWOW.
What? But I think the machine was broken. Ah well, not my problem anymore. We'll see you all in EWOW 14A. Bye-bye.
I made it. This must be TWOW 21B. Hey, wait a second. Is that?
Hello, welcome to 100 Words of Wisdom 13B.
And I'm Picky Berry Scootclaw. And today, we're gonna be your hosts on this
No.
episode of
No! No!